And a very big hello everybody, welcome along to another video. We are here at Mount Panorama. We're doing practice for the 12-hour this weekend.
Catch up to car number 25.
We're in the BMW GT3, which I've actually come to quite like, and I think it's going to be a fun car, and I'm looking forward to doing the 12-hour. I'll tell you about the team in just a few moments' time. I'm starting rear of grid. We are the lowest rated iRater in this race. We're starting out at position number 29. That was my choice. I think I sort of had the speed to finish around about somewhere in the vicinity of about 6th or 7th, but I wanted rear of grid because I want to do this.
Car right.
Get used to the idea of overtaking cars at Mount Panorama. But it all comes down to if we can keep it clean on the first lap, which does tend to be a little bit difficult from time to time. So I'll tell you all about the live stream in a few moments' time and the team makeup. But first, obviously I'm recording this post-race. Let the hero go. Don't think that'll be the last time we see the hero. Big dive on cold tyres in the Porsche. You're happy with that? So we've got an incident ahead. And yes, the road's completely blocked. Now, credit to everybody. Most people were smart enough to not get caught up in it.
We think it might be Eric.
But as you can see, an absolute catfight. And we've lost about 25 seconds to the rest of the pack. I do pick up a couple of spots because of this, and there are damaged cars out on the track. I've got Guido Xavier behind me, who's another Porsche driver. Now, the problem here is that I didn't get any temperature in the tyres, and right here, I could feel the tyres were terrible as those two get caught up under each other. I've got a half-second gap. I come down under brakes here, car gets a little bit loose, and old mate runs into the back of me and gives me a 4X, because we just wouldn't want to get through this race without a 4X. Starts flashing his lights at me like, "What did you want me to do, idiot?" So I just let him go down the inside because he's a diver. Navy diver by trade, I gather.
Handled that well. Good stuff.
And I agree with what old mate just said then. There was a perfect opportunity for drivers to just absolutely nail each other and for there to be a ton of wreckage and for that many cars to be pulled up on the track going through such a difficult part of the track.
Incident in the chase.
And another car off to the right, so we picked up another spot. We're up to 20th now as we continue on. Now this is the 40-minute race, so there's a mandatory pit stop.
There's an incident in
Another car off.
I think it might be Krimet.
And credit to him for not coming back on the track. When I saw him,
This is great. P19.
when he popped into my vision, I was like, oh, okay, he's going to come on and take us out. And he didn't, so credit where credit's due. So, we are doing the 9 p.m. Sydney time, Bathurst 12-hour. You can work that out for wherever you are if you want to watch. The catch-22 is I will not be available for the start of the race. I'll be working at that time. I've got an hour, the first hour of the race. I'll be working. It'll work out to be about the first half hour because the race itself won't get underway till 9:30ish. As I'm watching Gludio up in front, getting all racy and trying to overtake at a part of the track where you just don't overtake. Just wondering if he was going to cause another incident with somebody else in a 4X, but he didn't. Yeah, so if you do want to catch the beginning of the live stream, one of my teammates, Jason Archer McMillan, as you know as the big mid-pack dad, he will be streaming it, so you can catch the first hour there, and I'll be along probably about an hour into it. Now, the team itself, it is obviously the mid-pack dad, as I get a big bucket load of understeer there. Carrying too much speed through, tyres still a bit ugly here. Not quite up to temperature, about 170 PSI. But I do have a run on the Mercedes, and I'm thinking, do I have a go? We're in B19. We've picked up a fair amount of space. We've already got a 4X.
The leader's just done a 204.
What do we do? What do we do? And I decide, you'll see what I decide in just a moment. I sort of feint to the inside and think, nah, it's not worth it. I'll lift and coast, save a bit of fuel. I'm practicing for the 12-hour. I don't care what my I rating is at the end of this. I don't care what my safety rating is at the end of this, as long as I don't lose my A license. All I'm thinking about is practicing for an endurance race, which is hard. It's difficult. So the rest of our team for the 12-hour is going to be many of the people that watch my Formula V videos and, of course, the Formula V Trophy Series will know Nathan Maroney. He's going to join up with us. Really looking forward to racing with him. He's such a great guy and such a competent pilot as well. So we're going to be in for a lot of fun, the three of us. And to add to the final mix, the fourth driver, that guy didn't mind chopping my nose off, did he? So I think I'll stick it up the inside just to give him a bit of a fright. I was never going to try and overtake. And it paid off. Sorry, dude, but, you know, what goes around comes around. I kept thinking to myself at this particular stage of the race, karma. Anyway, our fourth teammate is going to be a gentleman by the name of Lachlan. Now, I used to race with Lachlan when we were doing Formula One, and anyone who watched the Formula One series that I did way back when the game was half decent before they destroyed it, would know him as Apex. He and I were teammates for many, many seasons. A great young guy that lives in Perth, and a very quick pilot. Very quick. There's another spot. And really looking forward to teaming up with him again. A great young guy. And as I say, super quick. He's a 3.1k tag the wall racer. I forgot about that. That scared me. I got jump shot from my own video. So that's the four of us, and we will be doing, of course, the 12-hour, as I say, from 9 p.m. Sydney time. I'd love you to come onto the live stream and have a chat and cheer us on or bag us out, whichever you prefer. I don't care. Same, but different. As long as you're watching, I'm happy. So we are on lap 3. The tyres are now sort of in the range where they want to be. We'll let the other Navy diver go. To be fair, he was one of the guys caught up in that incident and was probably faster than us anyway, so not much point in fighting him. He did a 206.2, I did a 206.7 on that lap. So better not to play too hard. Times are a little bit slow here at the moment. Now, Jason Archie McMillan, the mid-pack dad, and I did do a race before this. We did the race before because we were both 1.6k drivers. There was an incident coming up into this right-hander up ahead, and it didn't end well for either of us. We both picked up a 4X. We both got damage. I managed to fight back and get some I rating where Jason didn't, which put me in a different split to him. He's actually racing at the moment, just in a different split. So unfortunately, we didn't get to play together. But that's fine. I'm sure he'll have a great race. He's a very competent pilot and knows how to stay out of trouble. It's just when other people don't want you to stay out of trouble is when we have our problems. But that's what we're trying to learn at the moment. How do we avoid the monkeys? Just don't think about your ego. Think about endurance. Car gets very understeery here, which brings Andreas into our fight, which I didn't really want. So I'm trying to get a very clean run out of here, which I do this time around, which has been my Achilles heel. Most of this, I'm working on this corner, Falcon Bend as we used to call it, and of course the dipper. They're the two areas where I feel that I'm losing a lot of time, and my data seems to indicate that as well too. So it's not just in my head. So a 2:03.139 from Pierre is the fastest lap. He leads by nearly 6 seconds after 4 laps, so it's game over, unless he makes a huge mistake. But we're up to 16th, and we're sort of half hanging on to the back of Jonathan here, who is doing sort of good times. My time's starting to come down to where it should be, where I know it will sort of plateau out to 2:05.8. I still think I've got another half tenth in me, but I just need to smooth it out. Still feeling a little bit, still got the adrenaline flowing, you know, that you do at the beginning of the race. Well, I've still got that coursing through my veins. But if you have a look at our I rating up in the top left-hand corner, we're down 4. So from starting from 29, we're up to 16, and we're down 4 on the iRating. We do have -4 on the safety, so a 4X. I tell you what, if the race ended this way, I would be giggling all the way. We're going to run into the cutting here. Get the power down. I wanted to step out a little bit. I've got my traction control, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, down to 2. I start the traction control on about 5 because I just find the car's a little bit kinder on cold tyres. And then start bringing it down each lap till I get down to 2. And with my ABS on 2, I keep my brake bias around 50.75. It seems to work okay for me there. Still carrying too much speed through that dipper. I've got to brake harder. I better run down through the elbow.
Fastest lap for Pierre.
And we do have Andreas sitting right behind me, keeping me very, very honest. And because I'm focusing on him, I've lost track with Jonathan, which I was probably going to do anyway. We're still quicker on this lap than we were in the previous, according to the Delta. So if we can stay in the 205s for a bit, I'll be more than happy with that as a result. Trying to carry as much speed through the chase as I can. Just get used to the way the car feels. You know, as I say, and I'll repeat this time and time again, this is not about this race. This is about prepping for the 12-hour and just getting track time, becoming familiar with the track. 205.55. I think the best I've done in race trim is a 204.9 or something like that. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I'm not using the setup for the 12-hour. I'm just using the default setup at the moment. I'm just using the setup that we're going to be using in the race during private practice, where I race against AI. And of course I start rear grid there too, because it's fun. It's a great way of getting into to the flow. I've done 3 solid back-to-back stints in 12-hour against the AI, just to get familiar with the track.
The gap to Andras behind is now 1.2 seconds.
So Jim just telling me I've pulled out that gap now, got him almost out of the slipstream. I'm faster than him when I don't make mistakes, but you know, that sounds like a stupid statement to make. But these boys up front are going side by side. No, Jonathan's backed out of it. That's a better run down through there. And the Delta responds straight away. Look at that. That's why nearly a tenth quicker through there that time. Unfortunately not there. We run a little bit wide, and that allows Andreas to get back into the slipstream. He's only 0.8 behind now. So my problem is, and I think you'll agree, and if you do, please add to the comments down below, I'm just carrying too much speed into the dipper and too much speed into the elbow. I know that, but when you're chasing time, that's what I love about GT3 racing. Sometimes it's better to go slower to go faster, but when the red mist comes down, it doesn't always work out that way. Now, Andreas has fallen back 1.2, and because these guys are fighting up in front, Jonathan's been able to get round Sawyer, and now I'm closing in on the back of Sawyer. And Jonathan, I have no doubt, will be gone for all love or money. There's still some cars down in the pits.
That's your best in the session.
We're still holding down 16th, but 15th we are now, so we're +2 on our iRating. So not really the aim. I didn't really want iRating out of this race, if you know what I mean. I was quite happy to stay as a 1.6, but I'm not going to throw it away. I feel that's a bit cheaty. So I'm not going to throw it away. If I lose it, I lose it, but I'm certainly not going to sandbag, as they like to say in Formula One. Working on little different approaches coming up into the cutting there as well.
The pit window is now open.
And that first right-hander where I'm clipping the ripple strip and unsettling the car, I'm trying to experiment with that to get it quick through there where the car doesn't want to dance around. And of course, that right-hander is always a dance, as this one is, to the edge of the track. And I find that I'm getting later with my braking coming down into the dipper as well, which is pleasing. Much better run through there that time. A bit slow on the power, so the Delta wasn't overly happy with us. And I'm aiming for the apex. You can see I broke a hell of a lot earlier that time and got a great run onto the start-finish straight, and the Delta's telling me that straight away.
19, a few seconds behind Bussy.
And we've got slipstream 2 from Sawyer Lucas in front of us. Very similar I rating to us as well. Safety rating for him, not too bad. 2.4, so he's reasonably clean. But you can only be so high in iRacing, can't you? Because you pay for other people's mistakes. Now, I'm not getting racy yet or looking to this side or that side. I'm just saying, a big oversteer on the exit of the turn. That's me. Totally my fault. So there's a 2:04.97. And I probably lost a tenth, maybe 2/10 by getting on the gas a little bit too aggressively. Now, I probably won't run 2 traction control during the 12 hour, but I want to do that during this race just to get a better grip of the car, if you'll excuse the pun. Just get my head around the way it performs when you are aggressive on the accelerator. And I did that in the previous race too, and I did that in the race before that, which I did the other day.
You've used half your fuel.
Had a couple of massive saves in that race over the top of the hill, but that's what it was all about. Pushing the limits of adhesion and getting used to what the car can give me and what it can't.
Is now 1.4.
I found in these 40-minute sprint races, though, towards the end of the race, the tyres just don't seem to have anywhere near
The track temperature's
the grip
increasing.
level.
It's now 29
Now, you'd expect
Celsius.
degradation, but I'm surprised that they degrade so far. I hope that's just increased because it's a 40-minute race, the tyre wear. But if that's what it's like during the 12-hour, a 1-hour stint, these tyres are going to be absolute rubbish towards the end of it. Now, Sawyer got a better run out of that corner than me, but I'm still in the slipstream. So the only thing I didn't do here, which I should have done, and I'm sort of kicking myself for doing so, so if you want to scream out at me in the comments, feel free. I should have been using this now to get out of the gas, lift and save fuel, because I can close right up on him. For some reason, it just didn't even occur in my small little brain. I've developed it, he's going into the pits, so I was going to go into the pits, but because he's going into the pits, I've elected to stay out because I've got clearer track in front of me. I'll explain this. There's a 2:04.7.
P12. Right, the guy ahead of us is Tay.
I've developed an AI that helps me as a driver coach. I've put a lot of work into it over many, many months. Jason will tell you about it. I've driven him mad with it. Absolutely mad with it. And what I do is I take my Garage 61 data analysis from the race and I input it, and it now gives me suggestions on what I should be doing and little exercises that I should be practicing. And when I posted this one into it, it said, "You didn't fuel save, you idiot. You're sitting behind cars and you weren't fuel saving. What were you thinking?" And it's dead right. I could have saved a lot of time. A lot of time. Now, this race, if my memory serves me correctly, I didn't change tyres in the pits. In the 40-minute races, you don't need to change tyres. But I elected to do it on 2 occasions. And the reason why I elected to do it was because I wanted to get a feel of what the warm car would be like on cold tyres coming back out into a competitive track. Because once again, this is not about iRating, not about finishing position. It's about the 12-hour. And so far, I'm pretty happy. Yeah, we've skirted this part of the track. We've gone into the wall and just scraped it, coming down into the elbow. Fortunately, we didn't pick up any damage as a result of it. We do have rear-end damage in the car, thanks to our other Navy diver, who ploughed into us going down through the dipper, or on the approach to the dipper. But, hey, look, if you race Bathurst and don't come out without some battle scars, something's wrong. Made a meal of that. Made an absolute meal of that. Didn't allow enough trail braking to rotate the car. So Jonathan's decided to go to the pits. So I've elected to stay out again and continue on, which puts us into 12th spot, now 11th, with a 2:04.77. Comfortable and happy with those times. If I could do that throughout the race, I wouldn't really be asking much more of myself, to be fair. So James is, what, 5 seconds up the track. So that gives us a beautiful run for a couple of laps anyway, where we don't have to worry about any traffic in front of us. There's going to be no lap traffic. Dante is behind us. He's pretty quick. What's he, 9.1? I tell you what, if we stay up for a couple of laps, he's half a chance of catching us too. I don't know Dante. I think this is the first time I've raced him, but he struck me as being pretty fast. You heard me get out of the gas there. The car not responding to the way I handled it. So once again, a minor correction, but all minor corrections that cost time. And as a result, our delta's around about the 0 mark, just a little bit less. Once again, focusing on getting this right. Not quite. Could have got a bit more rotation. Angle on the approach to the elbow there, just not where it should be. So once again, need to lift the touch earlier. These are all the things that are going through my head as I'm making my way around this track. Down Conrod Straight we go. The delta is about half a second down on our best. Car feels very much like it's lacking grip when I go through that right-hander. So I have to just balance the throttle, which is fun. I enjoy it. This time around, let's see what we do. A 2:04.94.
Okay,
so, look, still in the 2.4s.
Should be about 4 laps remaining on this tank.
And as Jim just told us, we're being pretty consistent. And we're not hitting the ABS too much, which is a bit of a turnaround in performance for me.
The gap is 4.4.
And we are closing the gap down to James. It's now down to 4.3, so he's doing 2:05.6s or thereabouts. We're 2:04.9s on a bad lap. And this one's going to be a bad lap. Our delta's already plus 30. But I won't do the wrong thing and chase it and make mistakes. See, the car wants to push out a bit there. A better run through that section of the track this time around. That's helped out our delta. It's starting to drop a bit. Out of the gas so I don't go ploughing into the wall. Still getting a bit of shudder. I don't know if you guys can see that on YouTube, but I'm getting a bit of shudder. There was a Microsoft update in January that has caused havoc with gamers. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. That was a good run through the dipper. I've just got to get the consistency up. And that was a better run through the elbow for me too. If I could do that every lap, I'd be regarding that as acceptable. Not brilliant, but acceptable. So we are in 11th. Our I rating is up 30, but there are cars that have been in and pitted, and we haven't. We're on lap 11 of 20. A better run through there this time. Just a little bit too much ripple strip, which unsettles the car a touch. And we're going to be around about half a tenth down on our, or 5/10 down on our delta.
Okay, Grant, you're reeling P10 in. The gap's now 3.1.
Yeah, 2:04.93.
3 laps of fuel left.
Still in the target window, so I'm not disappointed.
Sector 2 is 0.9 off the pace. You need to find a 10th in Sector 3.
And if you have a look at, and you can tell straight away by what Jim said, all my losses are in Sector 3. And it's a couple of areas where I'm losing too. But if you have a look at Pierre's time, 2:02.7, that's blistering. He's 2:03.2 on his last lap, and he's 12 seconds further down the road than anyone else. But a 2:05.55 from Christopher in second and a 2:04.7 from Dylan in third. So the times are sort of average to what a 1.7k driver is. And don't forget, I've just clocked back over to 1.7. I was 1.6. I think I'm 1.711. So that'll give you an idea about how close to the mark I am. And obviously being the 29th I-rated driver in this race.
Incident in Forest Elbow. It looks like it's Ivy.
Oh, great. An incident in Forest Elbow here.
Yellow flag.
Yellow flag's out, so there's a car blocking the track. We need a bit of luck. Where is he? Where is he? Oh! He lunged forward, and I think he arrested the car there.
Okay, Grant.
I did jump on the radio and say to him, thank you for not going forward, because that could have ended our race horribly. Now, one of the things you do need at Mount Panorama is just the smallest amount of luck on your side, and I think we've just used our luck for this race. Okay, so now we're up behind James. What's he going to do? Is he going to pit? No, he's going to go straight ahead, so we're going to pit. We don't want to be sitting behind them. We don't want to lose time. Now, I have buggered this up a few times, but I think I've got it sorted out now.
15 kilometers per
I'm
hour.
a touch early on the limiter, but I'd rather be a touch early than a touch late. I go for the higher gears. I try and get out of the throttle to save as much fuel as we can.
3.
I do have my tyres switched off for this one, so it's just going to be a fuel stop, and there will be some repairs as well. What do we got? 18 seconds of repairs. You know what?
91%.
I'm going to take the repairs. I'm going to take the optional repairs, give myself a better car, and see what we can do. There goes the Navy bomber. He ended up behind us. So we're waiting for these repairs. Car's in gear. Okay, that'll do. Let's go. Wait to the last minute. Get out. Don't go crazy on the accelerator. Tyres are still reasonably warm. Still have operating temperatures, so we're not too bad. We've come back out in 15th, and we have a positive I rating of 2. And the closest car behind us is lap traffic, Everton, who's making his way up Mountain Straight at the moment. We go up through Pedigree. The guy that actually introduced Pedigree, which have a factory at Bathurst too, by the way, Pedigree Pet Foods, part of the Mars conglomerate.
Thank you.
He used to race the Utes in a category that I used to commentate way back when. He worked for Pedigree and managed to get some out of their promotional department and managed to get some sponsorship money out of them and raced very, very successfully, I might add, in the V8 Brutes, as we called them back in those days. They're just the Holden and Ford Utes.
Rossi behind is increasing. It's now 4.5.
But yeah, a circuit that I've been to on many, many, many occasions as a reporter, as a commentator, as a pit lane reporter in the latter part of my live commentary career. That tower that you see coming across the top of Skyline, I've done commentary from there, which at a V8 round is kind of fun because, people would take up lounge suites and things like that, and when the race was over, they'd just take them out onto the centre of the track and set fire to them. So generally, no car would come up to the top of the mountain in amongst all the drunks and all the mayhem to pick you up, so you had to walk back down to here, the pit area. And originally, I'll show you where the commentary box was here. Just before the bridge, there was a building right there where that crowd is standing under the super cheap bridge. There was a tower there, and that's where the commentary box was. And when they built the new pit lane structure, they moved it to the inside of the track. To be fair, big oversteer there, so that's cost us a bit of time. Dante is now behind us, and that's a race for position. He's 3.4 and closing the gap courtesy of that, so I need to concentrate. We're already a second and a half down on our delta. Yes, I would have preferred to have been on the outside of the track, but, hey, you've got to move forward with the times, don't you? You've got to move forward with the times. Got it out nice and close to the wall. I'm not scared of that wall. I'm not scared of the
There's an incident in
car
turn
snapping
9.
out
We think it
because I
might
know
be
that
Barbosa.
if you accelerate at the right amount, you're going to drift right out and get good drive through there. I'm pretty quick up to the cutting. It's from there on in. Over here, I can hold my own. But from this point on, I'm not quite as confident, although getting more confident. You can see I've run a bit wide there. Get it off the track. Managed to gather it all up.
Stay between the lines, please, Grant. You have 5 incident points.
You don't need to tell me, Jim. My dry cleaner can tell you that that got my attention. And you can see it's very jittery. I don't know if you can see it on screen. I remember during the race, I'm thinking, oh no, what's happening to my frames per minute? Or frames per second? They're dropping out. Now, Dante's 2.5 behind. We're in 16th spot.
10 minutes left.
There's 10 minutes left to this race, so there's plenty of work to be done. We've got enough fuel so we don't need to save, so it's literally a sprint now. Down through the chase we go again. Under the Armour Bridge. Down to Murray's Corner. Named after the legendary Murray Walker from Formula One commentary and a variety of categories in England. Now the times are 2:07.11. So we need to find a bit more. Dante's 2.6 behind. For some reason, I just don't have the speed in this second stint that I had in the previous by a considerable margin. 2:04.5 compared to a 2:07.1. But I also don't want to push it too hard because there's more to lose than there is to gain at the moment. We're up 9 on the iRating. We're in position number 14. Got a good run through the cutting that time, so I'm starting to develop a decent line through there, and that's brought our delta down to something more respectable. We're back into the right side of the ledger, but the cars wanted to slide there.
Yeah, I'm pitting.
And here.
The gap to Rossi behind is now
Yeah,
2.7.
it's just a little bit strange. There's still cars in front of us that need to pit, so we may even end up a little bit better down the road than where we are at the moment. So I'm just being as consistent as I can and just making sure that I get the lines and then the time will come. 2.4, 2.5 back to Dante. We're running very, very similar sorts of times. He was quicker than me on the previous lap, but the gap is the same. I'm quicker over the top of the mountain than he is. I dare say he's running a low downforce setup because he's able to close up on me down Conrod and on the climb up Mountain Straight, but I'm able to get a slightly better run across the top of the hill. That was my guess anyway during the race. Get into second nice and early, feed the juice on. Okay, we're 0.4 down on our quick time. So we're starting to get closer to where we need to be, but I can't do it with consistency. And I seem to be, I think I'm concentrating too much on Dante behind, who's now had a bit of an issue down there in Hell Corner.
All right, Grant. The next car is James.
And the gap has increased. Now James, who we were closing up behind before the pit stop, he's 12 seconds further down the road. I don't know. I can't work out how he's done it, but he's done it, so credit to him. But we are quicker than him. Looks like he's just come out of the pits with a 2:11. So we are closing the gap. Can we close it by enough? That's the big question. Running it right out to the concrete wall there, being a little bit gamer. You watch the same here. And staying in it a little bit harder through that section of the track, lifting at the grate, and then just a touch, just a feather. A bit too much speed through there. We got another off track, which brings us to a 6X. Into second early there. So I think going back to second, what I developed at the end of this was I was hanging off, going from third to second, going through the dipper, going through the S's to get the dipper, and get that rotation. I think I need to be in second a touch earlier because that time around it felt really comfortable, really smooth, and the Delta responded to it instantly. We're still going to be about half a second down on our quick time and broke it a little bit late there, which means we're a bit slower and a bit softer on the gas. And that cost us a touch, about 1.5 tenths, and just destroyed that.
Rossi is getting closer.
Just destroyed that.
3.6 seconds.
So this time around a 2:05.2.
Come on, let the race come to us.
James a
B13.
2:34. He's now 11 seconds down the road, but Dante, he's not able to keep up. He's done a 2:06.09, so we're quicker than him. Todd Bosworth, he's 13 seconds behind. From memory, he was pretty quick too, so what have we got? Another 4 minutes. He's going to do it tough to try and catch us, but yeah. We'll be keeping an eye on his Delta. Up through the cutting we go, through what we used to call tyre power, through Fujitsu, as we climb up to the top of the mountain and go for reparking at Filamy Park. A much better run through there that time, and got out of the gas a touch earlier there, which paid dividends. We're now up on our Delta. And you'll see, you probably noticed from the first lap to this lap, I'm getting later with my braking through the S's. Had to recorrect there and straighten up the car, but Dante's 5 seconds behind and not able to keep up. So we're not under threat, but I'm starting to think, let's push and see how close we can get to James without overdoing it. Obviously, as I say, I'm here for the 12 hour. I keep saying it, and it's hard to stay in that mindset, but you also need to be able to push in the 12 hour too. So I want to push, but still keep it within safe limits. Still getting the chase a little bit wrong. But we've brought the gap down to under 10 seconds, so we're about a second a lap quicker. Had a bit of a brake lock up there, but nothing that was too concerning. Still managed to get the apex. We did a 2:04.54. So right now, coming through this turn, I was giggling because I'm achieving what my goal was, and that was to stay in the 2:04 range as much as possible. Okay.
Gap to 14th. Behind is increasing.
It's mid to high 2:04s, but it's still 2:04s, you know what I mean?
Griffin's Bend. It looks like it's
Now there's an incident in Griffin's Bend. Not sure. And the Delta to Jonathan had an issue. So he's our next target now. James has got round him. So that's interesting. Jonathan, who overtook us earlier on, has had a small drama, and that's cost him.
There's an incident.
And there's a slow car up ahead.
It looks like Tay.
Yep, he's around.
The guy in front is
Jonathan,
Tay.
the Navy diver, has been sunk.
2 minutes to go.
So we're
2
up to
minutes.
12th. I think I may have told Jason I finished higher than what I did here when we were chatting online, because I don't think I can get from 12th to where I thought I finished. So I don't know. Jason, if I'm wrong with that, I apologise. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to the Mid-Pack Dad.
Okay,
His
great.
videos
Next
are
car
great.
is James.
For open wheeler fans, lots of Formula V, but he doesn't limit that. He's very good in the GR86, and he's been having a few runs in the MX-5 as well. Well worth having a look at. And personally, I know for a fact that he's faster than me in the GT3 anyway, so a very capable pilot. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Definitely like. Way more people are watching the videos than hitting like. It does do massive amounts for the algorithm for me. And if you put up with my gibber for this long, thank you very much. We're in P12 and we're entering the final couple of laps, which means there is the potential for freebies because now people get racing. Up through pedigree again. Run it out to the edge of the track. Keep your foot planted. The delta looks good. Up into tyre power. A bit slow on the gear change there. Should have lifted a touch early.
Incident in quarry. It looks like
okay.
James, yellow flag.
There's a bit of bumper bar, so we've got somebody in trouble.
The track temperature's decreasing. It's now 29 Celsius.
There he is, making his way. Yep, into the wall. What are you going to do, bro? What are you going to do? You're going to understeer off? No, he's going to go tight. I'm going to dive. And he's going to allow us through. Well done to him. He allowed us through. That was James. Sorry, James. You were having such a good race, mate, so sorry about that. There was no way I was going to catch you. So we're up to 11th. And James, you know James is not going to have a go here. He knows that there's a decent gap back to Dante, and he's just going to be trying his best to hang on to 12th spot and see if he can hold down some iRating. Guido Xavier up in front. He was one of the Navy divers that we caught up with earlier in the race. Quite happy if we don't catch him. So I must have finished. What do we got? One more lap to go. I honestly can't remember if there were any more freebies. James was able to stay in the slipstream there and has saved a bit of time. That's going to help him on this final lap as the white flag comes out. Okay, so all we want to do is be clean and not do that. Run wide and miss apexes.
10th position.
But James will be delighted because that'll help him. And that was a slow lap at 2:06, but we did have a couple of parts where we needed to lift, so that's fair. James will be delighted to get slipstream going up the mountain because it keeps Dante away from him. So Guido's out. Guido's gone out. He's had an incident, so we're up into 10th. 36 iRating game now. Jason and I have been having a chat about our tactics and our plan after this race. And our plan's very simple. Don't bend it, and you've got a really good chance of doing well. Because as you can see, the attrition, particularly in the latter laps,
the winner. The guy in front
is
Andros.
extraordinary.
He
Pierre
likes
has already won the race. His fastest time at 2:02.70. I'm going across down into Skyline at the moment. He's already across the start-finish line. That's a demoralising victory. Christopher was about 15, 16 seconds behind. And 2:04.2 tells me Pierre backed out of it on the final laps. But if you look up the pecking order, our times aren't too bad. We're sort of where we need to be in amongst this mix. Yeah, sure. We're on a flogging to nothing. An absolute flogging to nothing, starting from the rear of the grid. But
Good pressure there at the end, Cameron. You had him
it's
scared a little bit.
it's helping us get a better idea of the track, where we can place our car, where we can overtake, where we can't, where people are going to crash, where they're not, and so on. So down across the, or not quite the start-finish line, down through the chase we go. One more turn to negotiate. We're not going to take any risks at all there. We've got a 6.5 second gap over James with a damaged car. So we bring it onto the start-finish straight, and we will take 10th all day, and we will take the iRating gain of 36 as well.
There's the finish. Good result today. Well done.
So that'll boost us up to the mid-1700s. We will pick up a small amount of iRating. And last to 10th, I'm pretty happy with same. Thanks so much for watching. We'll look forward to catching up with you next time. Bye for now.